With Reiatsu manipulation and kido expertise at 100, Aizen is a kido master. He created a kido barrier known as Unmyon Escudo, which is able to expand and protect the back of his neck if he's taken by surprise from behind. He's been shown to use Hado number 90, Kurohitsugi, without incantation, although it wasn't at full power, and could also summon a massive Hado number 63, Raikoho, without incantation. As a lieutenant, he was able to block a chantless Hado number 88, the Hiryu Gekizok Shinten Raiho, from Tesai Sukabishi, the Kido commander, by using a Bakudo number 81, Tanku, without incantation. After seeing this feat, Kisuke asked, what is he? Some of the other Kido spells that he should be able to use would include binding spells such as Rikujo Koro and Sajo Sabaku, which can restrain an opponent's physical and spiritual movements. Telekinesis, he can create seals, use elemental spiritual attacks such as fire and wind, and although in his Shinigami state he might have to repeat the incantations for this one, but he should also be able to use the Hado number 99, the Goryu Tenmetsu, which can draw its power from the environment and focus it. He can also use Bakudo number 58, a super underrated spell, which can be used to find the location of other characters. But the most intriguing thing about this spell, the Kaku Shitsujaku, is that it's able to trace characters even across separate dimensions. In the Conquer Your Own World novel, Mayuri Kurotsuchi, who was in the Soul Society, was able to trace the spiritual pressures of characters entering the Valley of Screams, which required him to reach beyond the Soul Society's dimensional realm and across a portion of the Garganta. Furthermore, Aizen can also use Kido to bend light and make himself invisible, as well as completely cloak his presence while moving around, and can also summon powerful barriers like the Kyomon, which can repel attacks from the outside. There are also other Kido barriers such as the Hakudan Keppei, which Nanao Issei, a less experienced Kido master than Aizen, was able to create. This barrier was able to absorb the spirit energy of the opponent, as well as physically hold back someone like Jugram Hashwald, who was physically stronger than Nanao Issei by far, and she was able to create a more advanced version of that barrier on the spot. So with Kido, he has energy projection, elemental attacks, binding, sealing, absorption and reflection barriers, cloaking, invisibility, cross-dimensional tracking, gravity manipulation. He can also create and modify his own spells, and so much more. Aizen's Zanpakuto is known as Kyoka Suigetsu. Its Shikai ability is known as Kanzen Saimin, or Perfect Hypnosis. Whoever sees the release of Aizen's Shikai will be caught in the hypnosis. And as long as you see it, even if you know it's coming, it's impossible to evade it. This ability disrupts their senses and allows Aizen to control their perception. In other words, the 5 senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, fall completely under his control. And as Aizen further elaborates, it is total hypnosis, which controls all 5 senses at all times, even simultaneously if he pleases. And once the target falls under hypnosis once, every time he releases Kyoka Suigetsu again, they will automatically fall under hypnosis again, even without him having to show them the release. This happened to the Visors even after 100 years. It was revealed in Conquer Your Own World novel that the Kyoka Suigetsu is also able to control the perception of spirit energy and Reiatsu. Even the perception of spirit energy and Reiatsu in the inorganic substances in the environment can also be controlled. In other words, he can make you misinterpret the strength and position of his own Reiatsu. He can also make the opponent misinterpret the amount of spiritual power that they're using, which can allow him to trick the opponent into weakening their attacks or their defense. The fact that Kyoka Suigetsu relies on sight in order to activate means that it doesn't work on blind people. But the true weakness is that the only way to escape Kyoka Suigetsu's power is to touch the blade before the complete hypnosis has been activated. Note that the blade has to be touched before it's activated. And as revealed in the Conquer Your Own World novel, the moment you let go of the blade, he can put you in hypnosis. So the opponent has to keep holding on to the blade. And since Aizen controls the sense of touch, he can make the opponent experience endless pain whenever he desires. He could also control the sense of touch to the extent that the opponent can't feel his own body parts, or numb their sense of touch to the extent that they can't even feel their muscle contractions, which would prevent them from properly holding their weapons, as well as affect their physical strength and physical movement. All this and so much more. Now let's talk about Aizen's Bankai and why he should have one. In the Spirits Are Forever With You novel, it was revealed that every strong Bankai comes at a price, like Aizen not being able to use it if someone hasn't seen his Shikai. This was stated by the same author who wrote the Can't Fear Your Own World novel, whom Kubo-sensei praised for his incredible knowledge of Bleach lore when he was in the process of writing the Spirits Are Forever With You novel, and he had Kubo's permission to reveal all the secret informations in this novel, including things like Kenpachi's hidden strength, something which Narita himself was able to discover, much to Kubo-sensei's surprise. This novel was also chronologically accurate and fit perfectly into the timeline of the story, and solved many mysteries in the story, such as Aizen's reason for locking Kenpachi in Wako Mundo, as well as Kenpachi's new eye patch. Additionally, the Kenpachis featured in that story, as Ashiro and Kuriashiki, were also featured in the 13 Blades character book in the same capacity as they were in the novel. Now, Kubo-sensei might reveal Aizen's Bankai power in the 1000-Year Blood War arc, but for now, let's run with the information that we have here. So first of all, he has a strong Bankai, which indicates that it should function in the same capacity as other Bankais, especially given the fact that it is mirrored with Ichigo's Bankai in this scenario. And the Bankai should increase the combat ability of the Zanpakuto anywhere from 5 to 10 times. And since this is based on talent and training, given Aizen's insane talents with the spiritual arts, he'd most likely have a 10 times multiplier. After being released, the effects of a Bankai can also go beyond 10 times, as seen with Byakuya's Bankai, which has multiple stages of increased attack power. Aizen's Bankai and Shikai abilities would also be connected. Maybe he destroys the senses, or controls the mind, or turns his illusions into reality. Or perhaps he drags the opponent's mind into a mirror psychic dimension. But you must have seen the Shikai to fall under the Bankai's power. One aspect of Aizen's power, which would make his Shikai and this hypothetical Bankai so effective, is this insane Reiatsu. Perhaps Aizen negating Soifon's power was an illusion, but in reality, he should be able to negate her powers because of the insane difference in Reiatsu between the two of them. And it's not because every single ability in Bleach is Reiatsu based. I think that kind of reasoning is fallacious. Aizen can casually release the bare minimum 2 times captain level Reiatsu required to temporarily awaken the Hogyoku. With no effort, he brought Espada number 6 Grimjaw Jagajax to his knees with Reiatsu alone, stated that all the Espada's powers are inferior to his own. Even disregarding the Kyoka Suigetsu, the Espadas obey him because he is strength itself. Ichigo, who can sense the hearts of others by clashing swords with them, stated that Aizen must have been born with exceptional powers. And Ichigo's words were confirmed by the data book to be true. Ichigo did sense Aizen's true feelings through his sword, which speaks for the immense power that brought about this loneliness. His intelligence can also be factored as a part of this power, as it helped him to bring down Yamamoto. Tokinada Tsuneyashiro, one of the 4 great nobles, who was stated to have spiritual pressure on par with Byakuya and Yoroichi, was said to be far beneath Shinigami Aizen. And despite having far weaker Reiatsu than Aizen, he was a complete terror to multiple captain class characters, including Arrancars and Foodbringers. Furthermore, it was stated that one could undo Tokinada's copy of Kyoka Suigetsu by using spiritual pressure at Aizen's level, which again puts a huge gulf between Aizen and even the great nobles. The only characters whom Aizen expressed caution towards included Zaraki, whose suppressed strength could have been a problem before Aizen attained immortality, Genryu Yamamoto, who was above Aizen in terms of power, and despite all that, he was still cautious of the Kyoka Suigetsu's ability, which can still work on characters who are above Aizen's power level. Ichigo Kurosaki, whom he thought could grow powerful enough to give him a good fight. The Zero Squad, as Aizen stated that he would first fuse with the Hogyoku and then bring down Royal Palace. And since he had revealed this Kyoka Suigetsu's secret with Genichimaru, he was curious to see how the latter would try to kill him. Again, when you put all of Aizen's abilities together, he was seen as the embodiment of strength itself. And now for his immortality. After his battle against Ichigo, Aizen was in the process of losing his powers. This was further supported by the plot summary, which stated that the Hogyoku took back its powers from Aizen. So Aizen was actually reduced back to his Shinigami state, and it was in this state that he was declared to be immortal and unkillable. In the Can't Fear Your Own World novel, it was also confirmed that Aizen's immortality was as a result of the Hogyoku tampering with his soul. And because Aizen had this immortality even when he regressed to his Shinigami state, it can also be classified as a post-battle Shinigami condition. And of course, Aizen would evolve again for the 1000-Year Blood War arc, but being unkillable even when reduced back to a Shinigami state, as it is typical for the Soul Society to use their personnel for execution, as the Unmatched kido also specializes in execution, and Zaraki was sent to execute as Ashira in the novel. Furthermore, in Can't Fear Your Own World, when Shuhei got angry at Aizen, Soifun simply told him that if someone like him could have killed Aizen, it would have been done already. And so it stands to reason that no one in the Gotei 13 could have executed Aizen, even when his power regressed to the Shinigami level, and despite stronger characters like Yamamoto possessing existence erasure. So how strong was ex-Captain Aizen? He was a freak of nature. Thank you all for watching.